So how do we create a true learning culture with our distributors? Well, first and foremost, we want to make sure that when we're interacting with sales teams and when we are training our own people on a statewide level, that we are constantly referencing having a growth-based mindset. The skills that they have today are great, but they need to grow and build those skills to be successful in their role in the coming years. Learn new things. Be a student of life. If they don't currently have industry certifications, what can you do to support them taking the next step? Either getting their CSWs, Certified Specialist of Wine. If you're a spirit supplier, provide avenues that you can actually support them in moving towards a Certified Specialist of Spirits or maybe possibly the Wine and Spirits Education Trust out of London. But constantly be talking to your teams about how they're growing their mindsets and partner with them, showing them how your products and your brands can help them along that journey.
New to market. This goes for both new brands and new SKUs, since as a brand owner, you're entirely removed from the end customer transaction. All you have is your bottle and label on a shelf or name on a menu, which is not enough real estate to engage with consumers, share your story, and have any hope of altering their buying behavior. You need another platform for engagement. Limited inventory, second one. If you offer single barrel, small batch, limited releases, craft products, you simply lack enough inventory to stock liquor stores around the country, which can be incredibly complex to navigate. To get your hands on a bottle of Whistle Pig's Boss Hog, for example, you have to drive 50 miles, court their liquor store owner over years, give up your firstborn child. It's absolutely crazy. And don't get me wrong, some exclusivity is certainly cool, but this brings us to the third challenge, presentation. As the brand owner, you're entirely removed from that end customer transactions we already hit on. Your message is therefore being soured, at a minimum being muddied, since you have no visibility to that consumer and no control in that bar, restaurant, or liquor store. Nor do you have access to the data or ownership of the customer relationship, two very important pieces that we'll delve into a bit further. And lastly, supporting partners. You might not even have a wholesale partner in certain markets, or you might not be lined up with the right one in others. And then you also need to be thinking about driving demand to the third tier as well.
Onboarding. This is another key aspect of building a sales team. Setting clear expectations. So when I hire someone, I usually talk about the call frequency, how many times they're going to be calling on an account. I talk about communication. The communication, how is that filtered through the company? Do they communicate directly to their DM on certain things? Do they communicate with me on certain things? I love to be involved in a lot of the communication with my sales reps, and I set clear expectations for them. And then defining the goals. So in the sales industry, we have three key areas, actually four key areas that we look at. Revenue. So what are the goals in revenue? If it's a starter territory, the revenue is probably going to be pretty low, but the growth is going to be much higher than an established territory. Cases, same thing. I talk about kind of the cases and what their goals are. And then new accounts. We're all about growing our account base, and we're all about growing our accounts sold. So I talk about that a lot when I onboard someone, penetrating into new accounts and getting our product into new restaurants, bars, or retail places.
I think that one of the things that I hear a lot about from senior leadership at suppliers, senior leadership even at Southern Glazers is, I'm a little concerned that e-com might have peaked and we're going to go back to what it was like before COVID. Well, much like Mark Twain, I think the reports of e-commerce's death have been exaggerated. We're actually going to end up flat to slightly up this year versus last year from a volume perspective in the channel. And we're going to kind of even out, I think, about 200% plus to pre-COVID levels. So there's still a lot of room, and this is just beginning to kind of normalize as a way that consumers are purchasing. In fact, about 54% of consumers that buy alcohol online buy at least once a week through the online channel. Right now, the penetration of consumer buying in this channel is about 20% of all US buyers. So there's still a ton of runway for growth for new consumers to adopt the channel too.